Madam President, I rise today on an important matter that affects all of us, senators, citizens of our states alike, and that is the shortfall in the process of confirming nominees to the federal bench. And in particular, I want to talk about one outstanding nominee from my home state of Colorado, William Martinez. He has, Bill does, an inspirational story, and I want to tell you more about it in a minute. But I first want to explain also why there's such an urgency to confirm this fine nominee. The situation in the Colorado District Court is dire, and I don't use that word easily or casually, Madam President. There are currently 5 judges on our court and 2 vacancies, both of which are rated as judicial emergencies by the Administrative Office of the U.S. Courts. 5 judges have been handling the work of 7 judges for nearly 2 years, and it's been over 3 years since our court had a full roster of judges. But, Madam President, there's more to the story. In 2008, based on the significant caseload in Colorado, the Judicial Conference of the United States recommended that an 8th judgeship be created. So you could argue we're actually 3 judges down from what we should really have. Madam President, I'd like to submit for the record a letter from Chief Judge Wiley Daniel to leaders Reed and McConnell explaining the profound impact this vacancy is having on the court in the District of Colorado.
Without objection.
Thank you, Madam President. Judicial understaffing in Colorado and the presiding officer's home state and all the senators' home states has a real effect on residents and businesses. As the caseload increases for each judge, more and more time must be devoted to criminal cases. This is because the Constitution guarantees a speedy trial. But as time and energy shifts to the criminal docket, the civil docket in turn suffers. It continues to become increasingly difficult to schedule a trial as these backups grow longer and longer. The increased caseload I'm referencing also has a huge impact on our rural and tribal communities around the state as well. Our federal district judges are all located in Denver, but they often have to travel to other parts of the state for hearings or trials. Now, the geography in Colorado makes travel a little more complicated than in some other states. We have a big state. The Rocky Mountains run right through the middle of our state, and I can tell you from my own experience, getting around the mountainous areas of Colorado during the snowy winter months is not easy. So as a result, there are residents all over the state, but particularly in the western slope, down in the San Luis Valley, my tribal constituents, they have a more difficult time accessing the federal judicial system as plaintiffs, as defendants, and even as witnesses. Madam President, as pressing as this situation is in Colorado, I know it isn't unique. Of the nearly 100 current judicial vacancies, there are 100 judicial vacancies. 42 are considered judicial emergencies, almost half. And I understand that our Senate has confirmed only 24 nominees just this year and 36 total since President Obama was elected. That is a historic low. Now, I don't want to turn my comments and these nominations into partisan affairs, but the Senate has not kept up with the pace of past presidents' judicial nominees. In fact, last year the Senate confirmed the fewest judges in 50 years. 50 years. Bill Martinez, the man who I've spoke of when I began my remarks, he was nominated in February of this year, had a hearing in March, and was referred favorably by the Judiciary Committee in April. Today, his nomination has been sitting in the Senate executive calendar, on that calendar for 105 days. Here's the question. Can we set aside our partisanship and support the people that need our system of justice and those who work in our system of justice? The people of Colorado want us to vote on Bill Martinez and help reduce the workload on the Federal District Court of Colorado. Senator Bennett's joined me here, and I know he's going to speak in a few minutes. Last year, we convened a bipartisan advisory committee so that we could have the best candidates put forward. And it was ably chaired by a Denver lawyer, Hal Haddon, well-known figure, and former Colorado Supreme Court Justice Rebecca Corliss. The committee interviewed numerous candidates, and based on his life experience, his record of legal service, and his impressive abilities, we both recommended, on the advice of the committee, Bill Martinez for a federal judgeship. I know I was very impressed with Bill. In addition to being an accomplished attorney and a true role model in his community, Bill has a personal story which captures what is great about America. and highlights what can be accomplished when you have focus, discipline, and you work hard. Bill was born in Mexico City, lawfully immigrated to the United States as a child. He worked his way through school and college and toward a career in the law. He received undergraduate degrees in environmental engineering and political science from the University of Illinois and earned a law degree from the University of Chicago. As a lawyer, he's an expert in employment and civil rights law. He currently practices in those areas, and he served previously as the regional attorney for the U.S. Equal Opportunity Commission in Denver. I believe, I think as we all do, in strong, well-balanced courts that serve the needs of our citizen. Bill Martinez brings that sense of balance because of his broad legal background, professionalism, and outstanding intellect. I'm pleased to have been able to recommend Bill, and I'm certain that once he is confirmed, he will make an outstanding judge. And Madam President, I was going to ask for unanimous consent that we move to consider Mr. Martinez's nomination. I'm going to hold back on that request for the time being, but I wanted those who watch the chamber to know that a group of us who are going to speak to this backlog are going to ask at the appropriate time for that to be considered. Whatever happens today in these unanimous consent requests, and I would hope they would be granted, I'm not going to give up. I'm going to continue to work with people on both sides of the aisle, as well as any senator who might have reason to block Bill Martinez's nomination, to find a reasonable solution so we can fully stock our courts, we can deliver justice and services to our citizens who deserve courts that are up and running fully. Madam President, thank you for your attention. Thanks for your interest in your own state. At this time, I yield the floor.